We are here today with Dr. Brett Young. Brett, tell us about yourself.
Hey, Igor, thanks. Yeah, good to be here with you. Yeah, a little bit about me. I was born in Markham. I was living there till I was about three. Then we moved up to Uxbridge. Been here ever since. Been a chiropractor about 4 years now. So still kind of learning, still fresh to the game, but getting better each day, I hope. Yeah, I like to be active in the community, be physically active myself. I like to do stuff like running and like to go for different hikes. It's, not the easiest place on earth to find some good hikes. It's pretty flat, but still a ton of great trails and things like that. So just love being outside and love doing stuff like that. Yeah, grew up in Uxbridge. Went to school on the East Coast at CNFX. Met my wife there. After that, went down to do chiropractic school at Palmer College of Chiropractic. That is in Iowa. Came back here, opened up my practice in 2021. Been doing this ever since.
That's awesome. That's awesome. How'd you get into chiropractic?
Just when I was a kid, I grew up playing some pretty high level hockey and soccer. And anytime I was hurt, my parents had a good relationship with our local chiropractor, Dr. Peter Begg at the time. And he practiced a couple different pretty interesting methods. So I'd always go in there and he would do all sorts of cool stuff. And I'd leave feeling like $1 million, but a little perplexed by how everything went. So that sort of led me down a path of discovery. And I wanted to figure out how it worked, almost like a magician learning a prospective magician, I guess, wanting to learn some secrets of the
Gotcha.
trade.
You want to know
Yeah,
behind the scenes.
for sure. Yeah. And I know I always felt great leaving. So being able to help my patients and the idea of, being able to help others feel great after an appointment is something that really appealed to me as well.
That's awesome. And what do you like most about chiropractic?
Yeah, I think just helping people, like helping people get better every day, either if it's getting them out of like a pretty severe acute episode, or if it's just my regulars who are coming in and, I see them once a week or once every 2 weeks, whatever it might be, and just letting them live their active lives that they like to do, avoiding injury. I really like getting to know my patients as well. That's something I really, really love about the job. Usually it's one-on-one, me and them in the room
Yeah.
for 15 minutes to half an hour. So it's great to get to know people, right? Make conversation. You got some time there to figure out what's going on with the person, treat them, but you can also chat with them, get to know them, what they like, a bit about their family, stuff like that. Just establishing that human connection.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, you're not just a chiropractor, you're a clinic director, so you're an entrepreneur. So
Yeah,
what do you like most about entrepreneurship as well?
it's great. Yeah, it's great. It's got its pros and cons. I'd say the pros significantly outweigh the cons. As soon as you can sort of get into a routine, right? The start of my career I thought was pretty tough. I came out of school thinking, like opening a business, I'll get some patients, and I took over a lot of patients from a chiropractor I was mentoring under, Dr. Doug Stirk, down in Markham as well. So that allowed me to hit the ground running a bit. But yeah, I was certainly naive. So as soon as you can sort of get the ball rolling a little bit there and get
Yeah,
comfortable and familiar with business practices and stuff, it's a ton of fun. So I love it. I love being able to control my schedule every day, being able to make changes around the business if I see something that inspires me. And it's a lot easier for me to incorporate knowing that I don't have to get it approved by anybody, right?
yep.
It's at the end of the day, my name on the sign. So it's if I want to go do something, I can. And same thing with my associates. Or my associate, Dr. Anita, as well. I try to encourage her if she has any ideas or anything like that, bring them to me. And yeah, just not limit her and just make things a really nice, open,
Yeah,
easy
yeah.
workspace.
Absolutely. And yeah, you're right. Entrepreneurship has both its pros and its cons. Pros, the freedom, the creativity, of course, financially you can make more than working for somebody else, etc. And
Yeah.
a couple of cons. Now, of course, the pros outweigh the cons, but what are some of the cons, just to be realistic?
Some of the cons, for sure, for me starting out was, yeah, if you don't own a building, which a lot of entrepreneurs, if you like, don't, it's you have your rent. It's just a lot of overhead, right? Your
Yeah.
utilities, internet, different things like that. That's pretty daunting at the start of your career, especially if, for me, it just operates on my patient caseload, right? And I got some really good advice at the start of my career. It's take the best possible care of your patients, and all the finances will work out for themselves. So I try to incorporate that in my day-to-day practice versus some other entrepreneurs are more focused on sort of the money side of things, and that's very important too.
Yeah.
But that's certainly one of the causes, some of the financial stress and strain, at least in the early part. Down the line, it becomes things like if you want to start up a marketing campaign, like where do I begin that?
Yeah.
If things come up on the day to day, that very, very cold spell we had back in January, our heater died down in Markham. So dealing with that, yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's certainly the pros and cons of things, and of course, with it's nice to inherit a clinic with already existing patients. So that brings with it a whole other set of challenges than starting out fresh. Um,
Totally.
yeah, so I totally get it. What are you working on right now that's exciting to you?
Working on a lot, trying to get more involved in our communities. So we've got two clinics, one down in Markham and then one up in Uxbridge as well. So throughout my career, you try different marketing stuff and advertising campaigns and things like that, and they work, but they're not really fulfilling. That's what I found.
Mhm.
So for me, I've always liked being a part of my community. I like volunteering, throughout back in high school, through my undergrad days when I was back. So even now, it's trying to get back to the community where I can. So last December, both our clinics started a coat drive. That was extremely successful. I think it was like 18 huge garbage bags of stuff we were able to drop off to a local business here in Uxbridge that supports a lot of Durham region and some of the Kawarthas too. That was really great to see. It was driven by our patients or people in the community who aren't patients of ours. Just come on in, drop a coat. We're not going to try to pitch you on anything. We're not going to try to sell you when you come into clinic.
Yeah,
It's just let's help out others in the community who might need some help and
yeah.
then just keep the ball rolling from there.
Yeah, that's one more beautiful thing about being an entrepreneur. There's a million different ways to market your practice. You can just find
Yeah.
one that you like the best. For example, in the personal training field, a lot of personal trainers do social media, which is very, very ineffective, but nonetheless, they do it.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like sitting in front of a computer all day long. I actually like face-to-face, talking to people face-to-face. I like public speaking. I enjoy writing books. So that's the stuff that works for me. But other things work for other people equally effectively, or maybe even more so. So there's more than one way to get the same job done. Um,
Totally.
Now, of course, it's good for your soul, it's good for the community. Has your volunteer work resulted in more patients as well?
Yeah, I would say so as a whole. Yeah. And I like to kind of keep that on the back burner a little bit. I like my like sort of mindset to be like, hey, let's help the clinic or sorry, let's help the community. If the
Yeah,
clinic grows as a result, obviously that's a good thing.
yeah,
So yeah, I would say that most of them are effective in growing the community as well. And from that standpoint, it's like pretty low cost. If you're, contributing whatever it might be, $1,000, $2,000 a month to Google Ads or something like that. Effective, but again, it's money going out that you're hoping to get back in. If you're doing more community-based initiatives or volunteering at events,
yeah,
super low cost, super genuine that you're looking to give back to the community.
yeah.
And then even if you don't get patients from it, right, you're putting your brand out there and you're getting to know people in the community too, which goes a long way, whether you're trying to convert them into patients or just getting to know them as people.
Yeah, yeah. Same thing for me. I mean, I volunteer with the Markham Small Business Center. I've been doing that since 2016, part of
Awesome.
the Startup Company program. And same thing, I mean, I don't expect to get any personal training clients out of it. In fact, most people in it are not my target market, but it's fun for me. It's a nice intellectual exercise, and I don't expect to get it.
Totally.
But yeah, I get where you're coming from. And what obstacles have you encountered in your time as a chiropractor and a clinic director?
Yeah, I guess chiropractor first, starting out, I was just like pretty young coming out of school. I was 25. I just went straight through high school, straight through undergrad, and straight through chiropractic school. So establishing that trust and rapport with patients, especially some new patients that were coming in, the ones that I inherited, I had a pretty good relationship with already. But a lot of the newer patients coming in, it's sort of a double take when they're coming in the door, like, you're the guy who's going to be treating me today. And my last name's Young. My clinic is called Young Chiropractic.
Hmm.
So, a million jokes along the lines of like, oh, did you name the clinic after your age? Blah, blah, blah. So stuff like that, you sort of have a chuckle. But
Yeah,
I would say that's the main thing, building trust. And, I'd always explain to patients, you can't just build experience overnight, right? That has to come with time.
yeah,
But what you can build is sort of your own personal fault that you can tap into, right? So trying to be the most well-read when it comes to modern research and things like that, or doing some research if you encounter something in the clinic that you're not entirely sure of, and just sort of cementing that in there to make sure that you're current on everything to sort of make up for that experience. And now getting 4 or 5 years into my career, I've banked a good chunk of experience already, so it's good to pull on that. But that was sort of the toughest obstacle I would say starting my career is just establishing that trust in patients and letting them know, hey, listen, I'm young, but I'm capable of doing my job. I'm, a licensed chiropractor like all other chiropractors are,
yeah,
and just sort of establishing that baseline with them.
yeah. I totally get it. When I started personal training, I was 18 years old. My
Yeah,
clients were like 50 plus. Uh,
yeah,
so part of it is yes, absolutely being aware of what the research says, but I think part of it is also gravitas, like speaking with confidence,
totally.
things you're confident about. From a just a perspective of looks, I think it's really helpful to have facial hair. Um, it's also helpful to wear a white lab coat in your case. I can't do it as a personal trainer.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, totally.
it's helpful to spray paint some gray, in the hair.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So part of it is yeah how you look, but part of it is also your confidence and actual knowledge of basic things like anatomy, physiology, or in your case more advanced things like joint manipulation, stuff like that.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's all about how you come across, and you have to have that confidence, right? Or you have to be like sort of humble enough to say if a patient asks you something where, every day I get pretty obscure questions
Yeah,
from patients who either maybe don't want to go see their medical doctor and will ask me something. A lot of times I can answer them, but the start of my career, you come out of school, you think you know everything. You always want to have an answer.
yeah,
So getting over that and just being, having a bit of that kind of humbleness or humility to say like, you know what, let me do a bit more research on that and I'll have a
yeah,
concrete answer for you next time. And I
yeah,
think that comes across good to patients too, right? Or
yeah.
comes across well to patients.
Yeah, it is genuine. If they ask you a
Yeah,
question that they somewhat know in the back of their mind it's out of your scope of practice, but they ask it anyways, and
totally.
you say I don't know is actually a better answer than I do know, and here's the wrong answer, or let me research that. Um,
Yeah,
for example, same thing. I'm a personal trainer. I have no business giving people advice about, cosmetic stuff, hair, skin, nails, or other stuff. I had a client ask me the other day, like, should I take antibiotics? I told him, I'm a personal trainer. I have no clue.
right,
And I'm not going to do any research to find out because that's for
right.
you and your doctor.
Yeah,
But yeah, so obviously, A, when you do know something, talking about it with confidence. When you don't know something, just saying, I don't know. And if it's within your scope of practice, I'll research that. Or if it's out of your scope
totally.
of practice, I don't know, and I'm not going to research that, but talk to this person.
100%. Yeah, guide somebody in the right direction, right? And that's my mindset too. And anytime I get a new patient, and that's usually what I tell them first thing. It's like, listen, I got your intake and sounds like I can help you, or sounds like it doesn't. If it sounds like I can help you, great, I'll help you. If it
Yeah,
sounds like it doesn't, well, let me tell you exactly who I'm going to refer to you to. Because a lot of time, with a lot of new patients, it's just getting your foot in the door and
yeah,
seeing somebody. And I hear that a lot. Oh, I just had to come see somebody. I don't know if you're the guy, but I'm hoping that you can tell me somebody else if not, right? So that's
yeah,
part of it too, is knowing who to refer to, when to refer, and things like that.
yeah. I heard that one of the biggest predictors of chronic pain is when a person has, at this point, still acute pain, but they go to three plus different professionals, who all of whom have fancy degrees and titles, and they get three different opinions, and then they think, fancy people don't know what I have. That must be really, really bad. So they just need
100%.
with confidence that, oh, I know what you have. Let's try and fix it this way.
That's exactly right. And like, no, like, at least in my opinion, you're never going to be 100% in your career on
Yeah,
diagnoses. Like, you should be very accurate with your diagnoses, but every once in a while, you might misdiagnose something, or it might come in presenting as one thing and it's the other. So you treat it for what it most obviously is.
yeah,
And then if not, you can either go down a different direction of treatments, you can go for imaging, different things like that, right? But be confident in your diagnoses and ideally be perfectly accurate with them. But again, I'm not
yeah,
entirely sure that that's possible, right? We're all humans at the end of the day.
yeah, yeah. Of course, if you're not accurate, well, you're barking up the wrong tree. Change course. Don't stay on the same thing that's not working.
No, exactly. You can't be stubborn. And that kind of comes into the point where if you don't know, tell someone you don't know, right? Where it's, hey, you know what? I thought we'd be a lot further ahead with this. Let's bring you in for another reassessment. Let's re-examine this thing fresh, and maybe if something else, treat it
Yeah,
as something else, or if it's something else we might want to send for imaging or send you to somebody else. Let's do that as well.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I know we touched on this a little bit earlier, but let's talk about it in more detail. What do you do in your free time?
Yeah, I love to run. That's one of my favorite free time hobbies. It's a good way to stay in shape for me. I used to hate it like when I was a kid. And during COVID, my buddies and I were just, getting out of shape. We couldn't do anything. We're sick of the at-home workouts. And we just decided, okay, why don't we set a cumulative run total and see if we can chip away at that from now till June or whatever. And yeah, from there I just started to love it. So increase my distance. My initial goal was, I think the first run I went for was like 2 kilometers. And then it was, man, I'd love to run a 10K before I die.
Yeah,
And then it's you get better quick when you're running frequently.
yeah,
So I've done a couple half marathons now and toying with the idea of trying to take on a full marathon later this year. But yeah, it's just nice having something to train for. It's a good way to stay in shape. Offers me some good mental clarity as well. I live in Uxbridge, so there's a ton of really good trails. I love running on those. Good way to get some fresh air, some mental clarity there. I love to golf in the summertime. Golf's a big hobby of mine.
yeah,
Winter, I love playing hockey, volunteering with local hockey teams as well, either as the trainer or assistant coach, whatever that might be. My wife and I, we love to travel. Just last year, we got married last year, so we honeymooned down to New York and then did Boston as well, kind of swooping our way back.
yeah,
Towards the end of last year, we made it over to Ireland as well, and that was a special trip.
yeah. That's
So
awesome.
trying to find some time, yeah.
Yeah. Funny thing is for me, before I met my wife, I didn't travel for 17 years, didn't take a vacation or anything.
Wow,
Then I met my wife and I was forced to do it. So, so our honeymoon was actually in Maui. Um,
awesome.
but for our 1 year anniversary, we also went to New York.
Oh no way, cool.
Yeah. Where in New York did you go to?
Oh geez, I'm brutal. It was somewhere up near Central Park, and then we
Okay.
just sort of did like mainly touristy stuff.
Yeah, that exactly. Say the same thing here. We went to Manhattan. We went to Central Park. My favorite part of Manhattan was actually watching a Michael Jackson impersonator on Broadway.
Okay, that'd be pretty cool.
I was already a big fan before, but I was an even bigger fan after the show. Now, like half of my playlist is Michael Jackson songs.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's a ton of fun.
Yeah. And funny you should mention running. I might have started around the same time as you because I like my background is martial arts, and then after that powerlifting. So
Yeah.
powerlifting, like cardio is a no-no.
No.
Even though it's a cardinal sin, I still did cardio while I was powerlifting actively. And like my goal was just to deadlift triple my body weight. So once I
Awesome.
achieved that, I didn't never wanted to never want to touch weights again. Now I still did strength training, but with my body weight, with other tools, but not lifting weights. So I got so sick of lifting weights that I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm annoying, boring. Um, but I've been doing like bodyweight stuff, calisthenics. And then just like you, I got into running. And I've always been able to run pretty easily, but not necessarily for long distances, not fast, but easily. I could always, there's never been a time in my life where I couldn't do a 5K or a 10K. Um,
Nice.
I just wasn't the speed demon. Um,
Yeah.
but then I'm like, I'm getting a little tired of strength training. I'm still doing it, but I need something else to train for. I've accomplished the strength training like peak, the triple body weight deadlift. Now
Yeah.
I can run a 5K, but I want to do it in another 20 minutes. I can't do it yet, but I'm close. I can do it in about 21:20 or so.
Yeah. Unreal.
Yeah, so it's awesome to have something to train for. What was your half marathon time?
Just under 2 hours the last one I did. I think it was like 1:58 or something like that. So I'm toying, like I said, I'm toying with the idea of either trying to do a marathon and
Yeah,
just do it under 4 hours or trying to do like a sub 1:45-ish half marathon.
yeah,
So
yeah,
speed work
totally.
is not necessarily my friend, but I think that's just another obstacle that I'd like to overcome, and that'd be a good way to commit to it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I didn't say absolutely. When you have something to train for, you're there. That's what I call the difference between working out and training. Working
Yeah.
out is aimless. Like you're just there. There's nothing to strive for. You're not really looking for progressive overload. You're at maintenance.
Yep.
My mind hasn't really caught up to that yet. That it's okay to maintain. Like there's always to me there's a new peak to conquer. So right now my peak is get
Yeah.
a in 20 minutes.
Yeah. That's unreal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Second last question is that since this is after all a best of Markham podcast, what's your favorite business in Markham besides your own?
I would say I got a lot. They're mainly food based,
Yeah,
but
yeah. My first guest actually mentioned a great restaurant in Markham as well.
yeah, yeah. There's a ton of great restaurants in Markham. I wouldn't even know where to begin. Some of my favorites, like if I'm just going out for lunch, which I like to do in Markham because we don't have a ton of selection up here in Uxbridge. Down
Yeah,
in Markham, there's a lot more. So I love Main Street Greek.
yeah.
Unreal. My wife and I, if we're down there, going to Costco or hitting the mall on the weekend, we'll grab Slice of Fire on the way home, get some pizza and some of their garlic fingers as well. That's
Nice.
a staple.
Where is that?
The duck that's right on Markham Main Street as well. Just I guess just north of Main Street Creek, I think, or just south on that same side of the road.
Is that north of Highway 7?
Yeah,
Oh, I know where that is. Yeah, 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 I passed by it. My massage therapist is in that neighborhood.
nice. Yeah, yeah, it's a great spot. If you're ever there and hungry for a slice, great spot.
Thanks for the tip.
Uh,
I didn't know that was a pizza place.
yeah, 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 yeah. It's a good little
Okay,
spot.
okay,
There's
okay.
Wayne's Cup as well. That's on Markham Road as well, but north, just sort of south of Major Mac. I love Wayne's Cup. I just stumbled upon it. I had a student shadowing me for the day,
Yeah,
and we just wanted to go grab a cup of coffee and hang out. And like Tim Hortons and stuff is great, but usually I like somewhere a little bit smaller and a bit more local. So
yeah.
found that place, and I had no idea what it was. Went in there, and they do day courses, or not day courses, but like a day program, I guess, for like adolescents and adults with like special needs.
Yeah,
So they have like a whole back room where they do their lessons and things like that. I'm not entirely sure what they do back there, but it looks like they're learning a lot, which is sweet. And
yeah.
then when you go in there for your coffee, they'll, have whoever's working that day come up to the front and like ask you what you want in your coffee and make it for you. So I think that's just like, yeah, I was blown away by that. I love that place, Wayne's Cup. If anyone's ever looking for a good cup of coffee, and it is really good coffee too.
Yeah.
So if you're a coffee snob, go. It's still really good. But I think that's just an awesome, 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 awesome initiative. I have people in my life that I'm close to with special needs, and I totally understand the importance of getting them, independent, and they want to be independent and incorporated in society. And yeah, I love that place. So if
Yeah.
anyone's looking, it's a great spot.
I'm looking. I'm gonna go there next time I'm in the neighborhood.
Yeah, yeah, do it, man. It's a good spot.
Awesome, awesome. And last question is, how can our viewers or listeners get in touch with you?
Yeah, a bunch of different ways. Check our website out, youngchiropractic.ca, Young. We have most of my contact info on there. If you want to reach out to me directly, The phone number on the website, so 905-904-2379. You can call that, text that, whatever's convenient. Usually I'm on the other line usually I'm on the other side answering. If I'm with a patient, our lovely receptionist, Ella, she'll answer. And if you're looking to get in touch with me via email, you can do that as well. You'll see that on the website, either reception@youngchiropractic.ca or my own personal, Dr. Young, so DRYOUNG @youngchiropractic.ca. We're on Facebook and Instagram as well, Young Chiropractic Clinics. Yeah, I'm easy guy to get a hold of. So look
Yeah,
up the clinic and
we'll
you'll
start
find me.
getting in touch with you.
Yeah, no, a million different ways. Patients call me, text me, email me, everything, all the above, DM me, whatever. I'm flexible.
Okay, awesome. And all those links and methods of contact will be in the description for the show. Thank you so much, but I really appreciate it.
Igor, that was great, man. Thanks for having me on. It's great to catch up with you.
My pleasure.